Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Distinguished invitees, honored guests, and friends. How's everyone doing this evening? I would like to welcome you to the 60th anniversary gala of the Ottawa Carlton Association for Persons with Developmental Disabilities. Can you believe it has been 10 years since being in this very same room celebrating Ocap's 50th anniversary? Where did the time go? Ocap provides support to hundreds of persons with developmental disabilities in every aspect of life, whether seeking work opportunities, securing living arrangements, or dealing with day-to-day tasks. Since fully a third of Ocap's clients are also affected by physical disabilities and other medical considerations, the scope of the organization's support is in direct response to level of need. I will have the privilege of sharing the stage with some incredible people this evening as we honor many wonderful contributors to Ocap. We will delight in a delicious meal, and we will even be transfixed later in the evening with some mesmerizing entertainment. Without further ado, I would like to introduce the Ocap Glee Club. They started performing in September 2015. There are up to 20 individuals that participate in any given time. This program is completely voluntary run. They sang at the Christmas party last year, and now here tonight to perform. Ladies and gentlemen, I would please ask everyone to rise for the national anthem performed by the Ocap Glee Club. I would now like to draw everyone's attention to the video screens as we play a short video. Now, who here after watching that believes that the fire and passion and energy from within comes from Ocap's members and families and friends? I'd like to hear from the members, a little more excitement. I know you guys are excited to be here tonight. 60 years is a wonderful achievement. What a great evening it's going to be. I don't want to get too far into the program without also acknowledging the wonderful piano play we had during reception from a wonderful pianist, Natalie. So I'd like to give a round of applause for her. I would also like to point out on every table, you have a lovely little gift bag in front of each of you. Those are for you to take home, and inside we have beautiful pots with garlic from the Silver Spring Farm, hand-painted by members. We will learn a little bit more about the farm later on in our program. At this time, I would like to introduce Bill Cowie. Dr. William Cowie has been a professional international development consultant, management trainer, and university lecturer over a 40-year career. He has served as a member of the Ocap DD board on 2 separate terms for a total of 12 years, 5 of which as president. Recently, he has also been active in engaging the federal government over the new Canadian with Disabilities Act through his involvement in the Every Canadian Counts coalition. Dr. Cowie is currently retired and lives with his wife, Rosemary Farley, in Ottawa. He has 3 children and 5 wonderful grandchildren. He would like to dedicate part of this evening to his brother John, a lifelong psychiatric patient who passed away 2 years ago. Bill? How about this over here? Thank you, Bill, for those warm, welcoming remarks. Now, I know a couple of you are really hoping that that nice little shot glass on the side of your table is maybe some limoncello, but it is salad dressing. So it is time that you may enjoy, and we will take a little break for our first course. Bon appétit, tout le monde. We are going to continue with this evening's program. I would now like to introduce Karen Chan. Karen joined the Ministry of Community and Social Services in October 2013 as Assistant Deputy Minister of the Community and Developmental Services Division, following a long history of senior leadership positions both within the Ontario Public Service and municipal government in the not-for-profit sector. Karen is a reputable champion of community engagement and collaboration. She has a special interest in advancing accessibility for people of all abilities and in strengthening service delivery. Mesdames et messieurs, Karen Chan. Thank you so much, Karen. So as you see, Bill is still here, and I would like to ask, pardon me. I would like to ask Richard Smith to please join him on the stage. Richard is the president of the advocacy group made up of individuals with developmental disabilities. He is also a valued employee with the shredding department of the Ottawa Police Service, and they will be helping in a very special recognition presentation. Over the past 20 years, Carlingwood Shopping Centre has been a valued partner in the Ocap Christmas gift wrapping program. Carlingwood has donated all of the necessities to make this fundraising activity a huge success. This has included complimentary space to Ocap for their booth, along with all of the boxes, wrapping paper, bows, ribbon, tissue paper, all the necessities needed to make those festive gifts look fantastic. And on top of that, they also decorated the space. This 20-year relationship has helped raise more than $200,000 for individuals of Ocap. And we would like to thank them. On behalf of Carlingwood, we would like to invite Lucie Duguay, General Manager, to come forward and receive a plaque identifying their tremendous community support.
More pictures coming here. Okay, there we go.
Voilà un
Okay.
sac. Voilà un sac.
Okay. Thanks.
And of course, Halloween is over, so get on over to Carlingwood Mall and get those gifts wrapped. Start your shopping at Carlingwood this year. We are now going to take another brief pause in our program to enjoy our next course. I'm back. I hope everyone enjoyed their soup. Moving along with this evening's program, I would now like to introduce Anne Kenny, Oasis President. Anne has been involved in the developmental services sector for more than 25 years. Prior to her retirement, Anne was the Chief Executive Officer of Community Living South Muskoka for 17 years. Anne is also the parent of a developmentally disabled son. She's been involved with the Oasis board and/or committees since 2003, including Secretary, Vice President, Executive Director, Chair of the Communications and Public Relations Committee, Sensory Partners, Business Resource Committee, and its predecessor, Operational Supports. So she's done a few things here and there. She returned to the Oasis board as volunteer in 2015 and is currently the president. Mesdames et messieurs, Anne Kenny. Thank you, Anne, and I think the entire room would echo your remarks in regards to Ocap and Dave Ferguson. Richard, if I can ask you to please rejoin us on the stage. We have another presentation. While he's making his way up here, I'd like to tell you a little bit about these lovely awards, but I'm going to keep it backwards, otherwise you'll know who we're going to recognize next. So, these beautiful plaques. Each plaque has a piece of copper, which has been crafted in part from the original copper which covered the roofs of Canada's Parliament buildings from 1918 to 1996. How cool is that? This memento of Canada's proud heritage was made with the participation of people with developmental disabilities, which makes it 10,000 times even cooler. So here's the next one. All right, next up, we are going to honor the Kiwanis Club of Ottawa, which happens to hold a very special place in my heart as well. The Action Club was started in Florida in the 1990s. The club is modeled on a typical Kiwanis Club meeting, including regular Action Club business, supper, entertainment, and a raffle. Thomas Astley Sr. from the Kiwanis Club of Ottawa had first observed an Action Club in Florida and thought it would be a great idea to bring this to Ottawa. With the help of Harold Moore from the Ottawa Club and the support of 4 other Ottawa-based Kiwanis clubs, Tom approached Ocap and began discussions about creating an Action Club in Ottawa. The first meetings of the National Capital Action Club were held in 1999, actually downtown on Kent Street at the Legion. There were the first Action Club meetings in Canada, and the success of the club has now spread across Ontario and Canada. The group became chartered in 2001 and had a membership of 62, which is very strong. By the spring of 2004, the group had grown so large, 115 members, it had to split into 2 groups, and the Bytown chapter became chartered. The groups continue today to meet on alternate Tuesdays, still down at the Legion. Both groups are supported by 5 Ottawa area Kiwanis clubs, but the club that has been there from the beginning is the Kiwanis Club of Ottawa. They have provided the main financial support for both groups every year, covering the majority of the expenses related to the Action Club. We would like to acknowledge this tremendous community support and invite Mr. Stephen Tanner, current president of the Kiwanis Club of Ottawa, to the stage to be recognized. In my spare time, I happen to be a past president of the Kiwanis Club of Ottawa as well, so that is definitely the warm spot in my heart. And I attended many a Tuesday evening down at the Legion several years back, and it was some of my fondest memories of volunteering. Honestly, it was so much fun, and I still remember many members' names by first name, and I still run into them in some of their places of employment, and it's really a wonderful, wonderful memory for me. So congratulations, Steve and the Kiwanis Club of Ottawa. I will now leave you for another short break while we enjoy the next course of our meal. I know a few of you are still enjoying your main course, but we have a lot of content to still get through this evening, and I know everyone enjoys their sleep, so we're going to keep going with the program. How has everyone enjoyed their meal so far? How about a big round of applause for the kitchen staff, the serving staff, everyone here at the Ottawa Conference and Events Centre. Great job. Of course, every single one of you in the room is very important, and Ocap is very pleased to have you in attendance, but we have a few people that we would like to highlight and thank. David Remington, Director, East Region Office of the Ministry of Community and Social Services, as well as Corey Beard, Program Supervision of the Ministry of Community and Social Services. There are several great corporations that have sponsored tables here this evening. I would like to recognize Ace of Blades, Corporate Renaissance, Coughlin and Associates, Eamon Hardin, Gowlings, Hicks Morley, the Ottawa Police Service, Service Coordination Ottawa, and Surgeoners National Leasing. Thank you so much for your support. I would now like to introduce George Braithwaite. George is a retired naval officer from the Royal Canadian Navy. He is of a vintage that can remember that Canada's Navy comprised of about 70 ships. We'll leave the political side of today's Navy for another day. He joined the Navy at the ripe age of 18 and retired in 1989 after 34 years of service. He enjoyed that honor of command at sea and also served in staff positions in Ottawa as well as England. George, Judith, and their 3 children lived in Victoria, Toronto, Halifax, Ottawa, and London, England. That was then. George and Judith now live in Lanark County on a farm where he dabbles in the time-honored tradition of making delicious maple syrup, cutting firewood, and is now retired from local politics. Active involvement in the developmental services sector, local police service board, and the Mississippi Conservation Authority. George has volunteered on both the Ocap and Oasis boards. I will now leave it to George. All right, I know everyone's enjoying their dessert, but in the interest of time, we are going to keep going with our program, but please keep enjoying. We have one more very special recognition to do. That is for Anne Smith. I think I could probably give a 10-page introduction on this incredible lady, but I will limit myself just a little bit. In 1958, Anne and her family, including her developmentally disabled daughter, moved to Ottawa just as the organization was being founded. Anne soon linked up with Miss Toddy Kehoe, and together they worked on trying to mobilize other parents in Ottawa into building an organization to support each other and get a school established for developmentally disabled children. Anne spent many months calling other families and writing letters to encourage them to join together to form the organization that is today Ocap. Their first major success was opening Bright Hope School, and then in developing what was then called the Ottawa Association for Retarded Children, now known as Ocap. During the early 1970s, with the shift away from institutionalization, Anne became very active in getting the organization involved in its new role, providing residential support. Anne was the first chairperson of Ocap's Residential Care Committee, tasked with developing residential homes for children being moved out of the Rideau Regional Hospital. It is important to realize that in those days, Ocap was a purely volunteer membership organization with no paid staff. So this work all fell to Anne and her colleagues. In that role, she and others negotiated a lease for the Silver Springs Farm and set up the first group home for developmentally disabled adults in Ottawa, and Ocap's first residential program. Establishing Silver Spring was one of the greatest achievements of Anne's life. She still regards it as her baby and volunteers there once a week. Over the past 40 years, Anne has continued to volunteer every week with Ocap. Now, at the young age of 92, she spends 1 day a week at Ahern House, helping with our higher needs clients, and 1 day a week at the Annex program at Silver Springs Farm. Please join us in attempting to say thank you to Anne for her remarkable lifelong commitment to Ocap. Anne, heartfelt congratulations. Well, that wraps up our wonderful evening. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves, made some new friends, learned something new about Ocap. I know I certainly did. And we hope that everyone drives home safely, of course. And we hope to welcome you back again for our next big celebration. And of course, don't forget to hit Carlingwood for the Christmas wrapping and some garlic at the farm. Good night, everyone. Bonne soirée, tout le monde.